with Bobby Atkins, and we are the Veterans Edition of Real Estate Jerky. How you doing, Bobby?
Doing great, man. You have a good Veterans Day?
It wasn't bad. The problem was it was on Friday and Saturday, right? Because technically everybody was like, on Friday telling everybody Happy Veterans Day when it's actually on Saturday.
Yeah.
Right. 11/11/11.
Well, that's just people remember because they're like, hey, why do I got this day off again? Oh, yeah.
Well, it's weird because for many, many years, most people didn't have it off. It was only a federal holiday, and not everybody observed it. Schools did, but I always took it off. I tell everybody in my company, whoever is a veteran can have the day off.
See, I've never had a day off as a veteran.
Yeah, well, you can take the day off.
I guess I could, man, but
yeah, but I mean, it's just there was a lot of stuff going on. There's, they're in Merced, they have that flag honor, field of flags or the honor. There's just so much going on for veterans. But before we started the show, you brought up you want to get into the article you came across?
Yeah, I just kind of briefly read it, but it was just talking about how basically there's thousands of vets that took advantage of the COVID forbearance on their mortgages, and now they're in risk of foreclosure. And so we were kind of talking about that off camera,
right?
And it's like I haven't heard anything about forbearance in like the last year. And so now that this is coming up, you were saying that they'd have to pay it back in one lump sum.
Well, first of all, I'm confused how they got a farm on VA.
Yeah. It said they're in like Oklahoma.
Well, it says they're in a rural Oklahoma, a small farm in rural Oklahoma, because I know FHA doesn't like it. Conventional doesn't like the word farm at all. So maybe it's just their term of farm. It's just land and they have some animals.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
They're not really producing them, because I just, if you have any income producing stuff on the property, you can't go any of those. It has to go like either cash or what's that other program? Ag program.
Question, since it just popped in my head, what happens, say you buy 5 acres of land that's just empty and then you decide to start like a hobby farm?
You're gonna put anything on it, like a house first?
Well, I mean, no, I'm saying like there's a house with like 5 acres, right? And then
what is your definition of a hobby farm?
Well, I think hobby is anything 10 acres or less, right?
No, the issue is hobby means you don't make any money at it. It's a hobby.
Well,
okay, so if you have 9 acres of almonds and you lease them out, that's not a hobby farm. That's an income producing property.
Gotcha. I thought that was just the technical term for anything 10 acres or less.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it is not hobby farm is not make. No. I just went through this. It took me a while to get this one transaction done.
Gotcha.
Because the grandparents and the people had it before, and the people who are having it now don't want any of the trees. It's almond trees. They're going to tear them out. They're not doing anything with them.
Yeah.
To get through all that, to everybody understand what's going on is a lot of work. It's just easier for most places to go, we can't do it because it's a farm. You're making money off of it. So it can't have any income producing at all.
Gotcha.
So, but if you sell eggs by the road or your family, just don't tell anybody.
Well, so what I was saying is, what if you buy this bare land, but then you plant stuff and you start producing income?
Then it doesn't. The only time will come into play if you have to get a new loan on it.
Gotcha. Okay.
But an IRRRL, like if say it's a VA like these guys have, right? They won't even look at that, because they don't even look at anything other than, hey, is it better to refinance? Yes. The only time we'll look at it is if you have to do an appraisal, which would be a cash out refinance.
Gotcha. Okay.
So for most people, want to come and play with these people, what I don't understand why they didn't just do when they did their forbearance, rework so most of the times people didn't understand in the beginning of COVID, when all they heard was, you don't have to make your payments, you're going to be okay. And we're not going to report you late. But we're not going to report that you made any payments either, so that every lender out there will know that you didn't make any payments.
Yeah.
And then they come back and say, okay, now you have to make up all this lump sum. Well, I can't do that. Okay, let's do a modification then. The question is, did they not make enough money to qualify for the modification? That's the thing. Those are requalifying terms, where IRRRL, which is just a straight refinance, is not. But if you have to do anything to take cash out, pay off stuff, that is a qualifying loan at that time. And so maybe they're just not making enough money right now.
Gotcha.
Right. It's just like a short sale. Remember how everybody, in order to get through a short sale, you had to have a hardship. Well, maybe they have a hardship, unfortunately, that they can't get out of. So when you get behind on most of these, if they haven't been making a payment for that long, that's That's why they're in trouble.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And I'm not saying the VA needs to step in and help these people. So does the government, right? If they can help all these migrants and spend $20 billion for homeless people, they can, help out the vets, the few thousand of the vets to help them in the right place.
I totally agree. Why we keep burning money on stuff like that, I don't know.
Because they look at the small people. They don't look at the people who actually matter.
Or the people that are actually paying in, right?
Right. Or the people who actually sacrifice for this country. It's like, Rambo said when he was asked, "What do you want, John?" And he said, "I want what every other man who came over here and spilled his guts for this country to love me as much as I love it." Sorry, Rambo. Can't beat that.
Back in the 80s too, man.
It was Ty Stallone, man.
Like I say, that would have been in reference like Vietnam, right?
Exactly. It's because that's what he was in. He was Vietnam vet. But there's no difference in 9/11. Same thing.
I gotta go back and watch Rambo, man.
It's when he's in prison, right? And when he's working in prison, and his general, or not general, what was it, captain or whatever he was, because he's Army, came up to him and said, "John, what do you want?" And that's when he said that, and it was like perfect.
Yeah.
And I've used that phrase. I even said it to the sheriff this last week at Rotary, and he's like, "Can I steal that phrase?" Sure, go ahead. It's a perfect thing. It's like, it's exactly what people want, right? Us veterans want our country to love us as much as we love this country, but it doesn't work that way with this current government.
Yeah.
And that was one thing about Veterans Day when we had the sheriff come in Rotary, and he talked about it because we had him on Thursday. I know Veterans Day was on Friday, Saturday, observed on Friday, but really on Saturday. And he said that as a veteran, what really bothers him about this country is how it's not whether it's Democrat, Republican, Independent, or whatever. They're all they care about is the politics and the other stuff. Nothing about what really needs to be done. And this country's going the wrong direction. And that's what really hurts him as a veteran. His son was going into the service, and he's like, "Did I teach my son the right thing?" Because he's following in my footsteps. And I can see that, where people go, "I don't want to fight for this freaking country that doesn't give a shit about us," because my language.
Yeah, no.
But I mean but all they care about is the money we make, give it to other people, and fix everybody else but us.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. It's like when the plane's going down, right? Put your oxygen mask on first.
Right. Well, we need to get back to us.
Yeah.
And we can't fix everybody's conflict. And we're in so many conflicts right now. And wars against many different, China, Russia, this whole, all this stuff that's going on. We pick and choose the ones we want to get involved with because of how much it's going to benefit somebody in the government.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, ever since we started becoming an interventionist country, it's kind of come back to bite us consistently.
Yeah. But just because things go on doesn't mean we have to be there. We don't have to send them billions of dollars either. Millions.
Yeah.
If they want to start the fight, let them finish the fight. They didn't ask us.
I don't disagree, man. And like kind of going back to what the sheriff was saying, I think about like if my kids are, they're not a service age right now, man, but I'd be apprehensive to recommend for them to go in because, I mean, right now they're just, ever since we got into Iraq, it's just been, just a constant cycle of taking new recruits and sending them out to fight wars that we don't even know what the end goal is, right?
Right. I also, I know we're on that, but I went back.
Sorry.
I know in the article, I caught my eye on something, how what happened is the Veterans Administration stopped the partial claim rule, which allowed the submit where they could have that covered through COVID for, not later than 120 days after the veteran exits the COVID-19 forbearance. But they stopped the program. So I think these people were just late to the party. I don't know. I don't know, but they need to fix it because there's no sense them losing their house. But again, I want to help the vets. They go to tunnel. Maybe Tunnel for Towers can step in and help out. Somebody like that. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I remember
where they build the homes. They build the homes for vets.
Yeah.
Everybody sends a lot of money, but there's got to be some way to help these people. You know what I mean? If they truly need the help, but also you can't hide behind, I took time off to be with somebody. And then, we have responsibilities.
Yeah.
Right.
You got to pay your bills.
Yeah. I mean, and if you don't pay your bills, it's not your servicer's fault or the person taking your payments fault. You took out the loan. You said you're going to make the payments. If you don't, you lose the house. That's just how that works.
Yeah, that's why when you sign that stack of loan documents, it's an inch thick, right?
Oh, it's on VA and FHA. It's 2 inches thick, dude. It's more than that.
Like I say, it's always like
extra.
Yeah.
But they do have programs, and it's usually up to 12 months. So on FHA, you can do a partial claim up to 12 payments, right, to do the same thing. But if it's more than that, you can't. Right. That's what you run into.
Yeah.
So
it goes back to, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is, right? I mean,
I don't know. I would like to help them, but your article did come from NPR, so they're going to play on the heartstrings a little bit. And maybe stretch it a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't get to the end. Maybe they're asking for donations, huh?
No, they aren't. They're just saying there's other people in the same situation, and it's bad. So there's about 6,000 homeowners with VA loans in the forbearances nationwide. So it's not a major issue. If they're all about 10 grand, that means they could, take care of this for $600,000, which is a huge, small amount for our government, as much as they've been spending on all the other shit.
Yeah, they can spend that in about 30 seconds, right?
Right. Just add it to the loan amount and start over, move on. Right. And have the VA sign it and say, okay, we're done.
Yeah.
Add the payments, do a forbearance, and move on.
One thing I've been curious about, because, being out of the rental industry for a couple of years now.
I thought you said Ritalin.
Is just all the people that, took advantage, all the renters that took advantage of the COVID relief, what kind of hassles they're having now trying to rent a new place, right? Because when everything went down, man, I had, no joke, probably about 20 tenants come in and say, I saw on the news, I don't have to pay my rent because of COVID. And so I had to educate each one. And we ended up not having a single person that ever missed a payment, but there was plenty of people ready to miss a payment. I'm like, where do you think this money is going to come from? Because we're getting our money, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So also on that, that said so most VA stuff rose after it was in 2022. Like I'd say probably February or March of 2022 that most of these veterans got into trouble, but really majorly got into trouble after the thing was over, where they couldn't get the moratorium anymore. And that would have been probably September, October of 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think people just, they're so used to not do anything and waited too long to do something.
Well, yeah.
And it's sad.
We can beat that dead horse, but
well, unfortunately, reach out to your congressman, congresswoman, see if they're there to help you. That somebody's going to be there to help you.
Yeah,
go to the. I know the VA will do something. The VA is trying to do something, but there's 6,000 of them, and VA doesn't do anything well.
Yeah,
that's why they guarantee the program and don't actually do the program.
Gotcha.
Because if they did, it would be the worst loan out there and never get funded.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. We're done with the beating that horse.
Yeah.
All right. So long story short, VA is a great loan. You have, they have forbearances. They have stuff that can help you if you get behind a partial payment and stuff. But the COVID thing was over and you needed to have the stuff in. But again, the question really is, was it the servicers? Where's the issue and how to get it fixed? So reach out to your Congress member and they'll help you out.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Ed.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for being here, Bobby. We'll talk to you on Thursday, everybody. Thank you for being here. All right.